Stay tuned and check out my top 10 comic-based Marvel Legends of 2021. And spoiler alert, it's none of these. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. And Happy New Year! 2022 is here. So you know what that means. It's time to look back at the year that was and talk about some of my favourite Marvel Legends. And today we are kicking off with my favourite comic-based Marvel Legends. As you know, on this channel, I like to break it down into 3 categories so I can give more Marvel Legends some love. That's comic, MCU, and builder figures. So today, to be eligible for the list, all you had to be with a comic-based figure. That's deluxe included. As long as you could buy you in one go and you wasn't a builder figure, you're fair game. Obviously, I'm not including the Sentinel, as that would obviously be cheating, and I want to give some love to some of the other figures. So let's get to it. And on the table right now are my honourable mentions. I love all of these figures, and some of them were even in the top 10 for a little bit, but slowly got pushed out toward the end, but still wanted to give them a little bit of love. So we got 10 figures here on the table. So let's go through them real quick and let me tell you why they are my honourable mentions. So starting off with Shriek there. Shriek is on a brand new double jointed pinless female body mold. So I definitely wanted to give that some acknowledgement. That's the future of female Marvel Legends. Hopefully we see that body utilised a lot more this year. However, this Shriek wasn't really my mind's eye of Shriek, so never quite made the top 10, but still wanted to acknowledge the sort of updates we are continuously getting with Marvel Legends. Very pleasing to the eye, that aesthetic without the pins. Next to her, we got AOA Rogue, who, you know my love-hate relationship with AOA, and I have to admit, they are growing on me, and they do make a very colourful section of the X-Men display. And this Rogue, I just like it. She pops on the shelf, and I just like this figure, but obviously not good enough to make the top 10. In front of them, we got Lady Deathstrike, who was a much needed upgrade to the Toy Biz version from back in the day, so I appreciate that. But at the minute, she's a little bit lonely on the shelf. Hopefully this year, with Bonebreaker coming, we get a few more Reavers to round out that sort of team. But for now, she's a little bit lonely. Not one of my favourite characters either, but still want to acknowledge a great figure. Not quite good enough to make my top 10. Behind her, we got 2 brand new characters in the recent Fantastic Four retro wave with Psycho Man and High Evolutionary. I have to appreciate these. These were nearly on my top 10. They were for a little bit. It slowly got pushed out at the end because they're just not particularly favourite characters of mine. However, I do want to acknowledge and appreciate they are both on unique pinless body molds. Very nice figures, better than we deserve for these characters, or better than we expected at least. And yeah, that Psycho Man is a lot of fun, and so is High Evolutionary. I do think the scales could be a little bit bigger, but still, I appreciate the villains and nice additions. Always like adding new character to display, you know that. In front of them, another new character we added this year in the AOA wave, but technically a 616 character. It is, of course, Legion, and he's just a lot of fun now. He's got pins, he's not on any new body molds or anything like that, but look at him, he's sitting there cross-legged. It's just a fun Marvel Legend to pose, and these are toys at the end of the day. Whatever's fun should be acknowledged, and he was a fun figure and just looks great. He pops on the shelf, that's for sure. So does the person next to him, that game show host that we call Arcade. He came with 2 heads, this game show host version, and then his more evil head. And I just like these wacky side villains, characters you never expect to get in Legends form, and always happy when we can add them to the shelf. So he is definitely worth a nod. Behind him, another first time in the line for Marvel Legends, it's Richter, and he looks very much like he does in the comics, which bravo, I love it when they can do that. He's my mind's eye version of Richter. I appreciate it. Not quite good enough to be in the top 10. Next to him, we have the completely invisible Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. I just want to acknowledge and appreciate that Hasbro at least tempted this super hard to give us a fully translucent figure, let's be honest, especially if you still want it to articulate. But Hasbro did a pretty good job here, and considering we have multiple Fantastic Four teams now in Legends form, it's nice to mix them up a little bit and at least have one fully translucent Sue Storm. I appreciate that. In front of her, you've got little Miss Lion, and to be honest, she just reminds me of my own dog Teddy, so I've got a bit of a soft spot for her. But she was also an accessory that was packed with Firestar at the back there in that nice yellow jumpsuit, and she's a great figure as well. Looks great on display with Spider-Man or wherever you put her, and yeah, definitely worth acknowledgement. She came out early in the year, so people have probably forgot about her. Unfortunately, she's on these sort of outdated female body molds with the single joints and the pins and all of that, but still, I like the figure. She's fun and came with a nice amount of accessories as well. So there you go. They are my honourable mentions, all worthy of some love. But let's get into the nitty gritty, shall we? The reason you are all here, let's finally get into my top 10 comic-based Marvel Legends of 2021. And remember, this list is just a little bit of fun. Just some of my favourite figures that I've enjoyed this year and we're excited to add to my shelf. So if you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. It's just some fun, but you can still let me know your thoughts in the comments, okay? So let's get to it. And number 10, I am deadly serious, it is Frogman. That's right, Eugene has made the list. Now, my American friends probably got this wave towards the tail end of 2020. However, technically, the Stiltman Build-A-Figure wave was the first official wave of 2021. And due to all the shipping delays, we never got this in the UK until a few months later. So he is definitely a 2021 figure and needed to be in my top 10. Honestly, at the end of the day, we're collecting toys and they're meant to be fun, and Frogman has been nothing but fun. I've enjoyed teasing Brandon saying it's his favourite Marvel Legend, and he has genuinely become a mascot of the channel. He's literally Hellfire's Hank's best friend at this point. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just a fun Marvel Legend, and it's not about the best articulation or the pinless joints or anything like that. This is just pure fun factor. A character that's never had any merchandise ever before. This is the first time he's ever had an action figure in any form over the years. And yeah, as I said, very clever reuse of that Doc Ock body. No one expected that. People probably were expecting maybe a Mole Man or something like that. But we will take Frogman. Very happy to add him to the collection. He's a lot of fun. So he had to make the list at number 10. At number 9, my good friend Brian, it is of course Captain Britain. And come on now, you can forgive me. I could have put this guy at number 1. Honestly, that's how much this figure has meant to me this year. I got to officially announce this Marvel Legend to the world on this tiny YouTube channel. That will forever mean a great deal to me. So this figure means a lot to me, and I've had a lot of fun with him this year. He was part of that Excalibur box set. He's in that Excalibur uniform that we have been wanting for a while. Now, could this figure be better? Yes, of course it is. There's room for improvement. We could get a nice pinless body mold. We could get more articulation, but for me, Brian standing there holding Excalibur has been a highlight of the year, so he had to be in my top 10. So please forgive me, Brian Braddock, Captain Britain, is at number 9. At number 8, I'm going with Omega Sentinel. She was definitely the highlight of that Powers of X-Men wave, as she's a brand new character to the collection, and she's also a female on a completely pinless body, and she's got these robot arms, and she comes with some nice accessories where you can basically create a completely different look for the character. So you got an alternative head. Now, thanks to super producer Rich M, we know that the skin tone's wrong, the hair colour's wrong, so that's why she didn't quite make it further up the list, but I still wanted to acknowledge what a really good figure this is. She's honestly been standing front row of my shelf for a while. She even has interchangeable arms that come apart at the elbow, where you can literally plug in these cannons, like, which is really fun. So she's got all this posability and that fun factor, and again, another new character to add to the collection. I genuinely think people are sleeping on this one a little bit. Hopefully she does land in a few people's top 10s, because it is a very nice figure. Again, completely pinless. I like the red against the white with the black outlines. She pops on the shelf with some nice accessories. I always appreciate options, so that's a big deal to me. And this character, as I said, you can make it into somewhat a different look, basically. So there you go, a completely different look for the character. So worthy of buying too. So yeah, I definitely wanted to show Omega Sentinel some love. So she makes the list at number 8. At number 7, I'm going with Tigra, or Tigre to you and me. Don't hate me, Rich M. 7th is a great spot, especially considering I've literally only just opened her up. Haven't even got my review on the channel yet, but it will be shortly. Tigra is a great figure, and we should be talking about her for the right reasons. Now, the controversial thing about this figure are people are saying in the community that she's too orange. She's too bright. She's too neon orange. She should be a little bit more toned down with a bit of a yellow tinge to her. Now, I don't disagree with you. I understand where you're coming from. However, what colour are tigers? Tigers are orange and black. She is orange and black. This is undoubtedly still Tigra on a display, and no one will dispute you. She is also on a brand new pinless, double jointed female body mold with nice like bicep swivel and double joints on a female figure, which is super rare. This is the future of Marvel Legends. This is the aesthetic we want to see on the shelf without the pins, nice and sturdy. Like, this is the future of female Marvel Legends. Now, this version has got some sculpted details on her of fur, so maybe we will see this body again this year in 2022 with maybe a feral or a wolfbane. I would definitely like to add them to the collection, but Tigra is a very welcome addition with the nice little tail as well. And considering it was on a retro card back, you'd think she doesn't really come with any accessories, but she comes with an interchangeable head and interchangeable hands with the more claws, so you go from neutral Tigra to ready to battle fighting Tigra. So I love those display options. So Tigra is definitely worthy of some love and definitely worthy of being on this list. As I said, literally only just opened her up and I knew she had to go on the list straight away. I've not put her down since I've got her, and she of course is a member of the Who crew as well. So had to get on the list, and yeah, 7th is a great spot. So Tigra, 7th. Now, if I haven't lost you yet, this is probably where I lose you, because for me, Modular Iron Man is number 6. Now, this guy is going to be a lot of people's number 1, no doubt, as this Iron Man outfit is iconic, especially if you grew up in the 90s. He was all over merchandise on the computer games. He had his own cartoon where this was the main Iron Man body. So for a lot of people, this was the first time they've seen Iron Man. And this Marvel Legend is beautiful, no doubt. It is completely pinless. Really nice articulation for an Iron Man, and a lot of people's mind's eye of Iron Man. So this, again, undoubtedly will be a lot of people's number 1. But for me, it's not necessarily my mind's eye of Iron Man. I appreciate adding new Iron Mans to the collections, forever building that hall of armor. And yeah, this is a great figure. However, I think the articulation could have been better. And I also think that it didn't really come with many accessories. We didn't get an unmasked head. An unmasked head with a mullet would have been great. Let's be honest, we could have got a proton cannon. This figure was definitely worthy of being a deluxe and just packing the box full of fun accessories. However, we just got interchangeable hands with the blast effects, which we have seen many times before. So I do think we will see this figure again, where the gold is more yellow, so it matches what we see on the cartoon. And yeah, undoubtedly a great Iron Man figure, worthy of note, worthy of mention. Of course it is. But for me, just didn't quite make the top 5. For me personally, just because this isn't my definitive Iron Man. However, I understand it may be yours. So yeah. For me, number 6. At number 5, and my highest ranked female Marvel Legend of 2021, it is of course Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. Now, this is a beautiful figure. Now, I love Ironheart because I remember reading the comics where she was slowly started to creep in. It wasn't even that long ago, probably about 2016. So I feel like I've been with her from the beginning, and it was always inevitable that we were going to get her in figure form. And now we've got this body. We know we're going to see it again in the black and pink outfit as well. But this figure is a great debut Marvel Legend. Not only do you get the nice unmasked head, she came with a nice amount of accessories as well. And this is a female figure with the bicep swivel, pinless elbows, double jointed elbows, and just a beautiful looking Iron Man armor, all the same with that chrome red and the gold, the nice little blue highlights as well. She's a beautiful Marvel Legend and definitely worthy of attention. As I said, pinless, double joints. It's just so nice as well to have options on a display. Like, as I said, you have the helmet, you have the really nice unmasked head as well as those blast effects, which are quite unique for an Iron Man Marvel Legend. She's just a lot of fun and definitely noteworthy. Again, we'll be seeing more of her, I am sure, no doubts about it. But as a debut Marvel Legend, this is very nice. So for me, she makes it at number 5. At number 4, just missing out on a podium place, it is Red Skull from the Super Villains wave. Now, we have been wanting the green jumpsuit Red Skull for a long time. We've been army building our Hydra soldiers for a while and no one to command them. And now we do with this Red Skull. Brand new pinless body as well, so we're sure to see this again. And it came in the same wave as Dormammu, who shares this same body mold. So for me, Red Skull is the more definitive character. I needed him in my collection, but again, you could swap this with Dormammu if you preferred him, as they are both on the same new pinless body mold, but two different characters utilizing it. But for me, my pick is Red Skull, because I feel we had a Dormammu Build-A-Figure recently in 2015 to go with Doctor Strange wave, and that was pretty good, but we were missing a comic version of Red Skull for the shelf, and this one is very nice. It came with two heads, one with the big grin, which has grew on me, but I still prefer this one. You've got the Hydra logo there, it comes with a gun, and yeah, just aesthetically pleasing without the pins, and really nice to pose, some nice range of articulation, and a big bad. He's an A-list villain, and you're going to tell with my next picks, I love my villains and love building out those ranks on the shelf. Look, there's no point in having heroes on the shelf if you haven't got villains to fight, so we need some villains. There's lots of quirky good ones, and Red Skull is an A-list villain at that, and yeah, finally we got him in his classic look in Legends form. So yeah, beautiful figure, very happy to get him. He makes it at number 4. So at number 3, he may be wearing a lot of gold, but he gets the bronze medal on this occasion. It is, of course, Thanos. Now, this Thanos is magnificent. This is definitely my mind's eye version of Thanos. It was a deluxe figure that was released along with the anniversary, the 20th anniversary of the Infinity War storyline. And yeah, this is a beautiful looking figure. This is the Thanos we wanted. Now, the articulation may not be the best, but for me, it's all about what the figure represents. And there's still got a nice range of movement on here. He came with an interchangeable head that you could use for the King Thanos on the previous Thanos, so that didn't go to waste. He comes with a snapping finger with the Infinity Gauntlet as well as his classic uniform. He was basically just missing a throne and Lady Death. But yeah, this is a beautiful Marvel legend, and undoubtedly a comic Thanos at that. So like, you could just pose this on the shelf like that and it looks great. But I had mine in a throne. As I said, he has the snapping finger. He's a big brute. Like, you can get him in fighting poses if you want him to. Like, Thanos, as I said, even without the MCU, was a big deal in the comics. And we had a Thanos previously, but it just wasn't quite right, where I think aesthetically, this is a much better build. And this is my mind's eye of Thanos, and a beautiful figure worthy of the deluxe. And as I said, makes it eligible for this list. So he makes the podium at number 3. At number 2, and taking the silver medal, is a character and a figure that caught me off guard with how much I liked it and how much fun I've had with it this year. It is, of course, MODOK. Now, just like Thanos, he was a deluxe Marvel legend at a slightly higher price point than we're used to paying. But if they're going to give us figures at this quality, then I'm all for it. This is a beautifully executed Marvel legend. Now, I always talk about one of my mind's eye version of characters on a display. This is undoubtedly a mind's eye version of MODOK. Very accurate to what we see in the comics. And just like with Red Skull, where I needed to command my Hydra army, my AIM soldiers were walking around my display aimlessly, pun intended, looking for someone to command them. And now we get MODOK to be the centerpiece of our AIM army. And we also got the Scientist Supreme this year as well. So now our AIM display is looking very nice. And this MODOK, as I said, had options. Like, we had interchangeable heads, he had interchangeable hands, he has more articulation than you would expect on this type of character design. And let's be honest, Hasbro had some work to do, as the collecting community still held that previous Toy Biz MODOK in high regard. But Hasbro really did raise the bar in regards to MODOK. They did better than we all expected them to do, and this is a beautiful figure with some nice articulation, nice range of options for a display as well. And he's a big boy. He takes up a lot of real estate. He's going to stand out in a display, but I'm all for it. It's beautiful. He makes my number 2. At number 1, who else but ULTRON. This figure is beautiful. Now, my 3rd and 2nd place were both deluxe figures, where you have to pay a little bit more to get that quality. However, this ULTRON is a single packed regular price Marvel Legend, and it is a brand new pinless body, completely unique for ULTRON, with this very nice sort of chrome paint on it. Like, usually when we get metal Marvel Legends, there's like got this swirly twirly plastic. However, this is like a really smooth, clean cut sort of ULTRON, very nicely hidden articulation within the actual sculpt and the design of the character, completely pinless as well. Great range of movement considering he's a robot. We've got the Kirby Crackle accessory that literally can sit in his mouth, or he can hold it Like, you got interchangeable hands. He can do the standard angry evil man pose. He had fisted hands as well for more of a neutral pose. Let me just put that Kirby crackle back in his mouth because that just looks great with the sort of translucent orange in there as well. Like, this figure, honestly, is a great Marvel Legend. You know me, I love my villains. If you couldn't tell with some of my recent picks, it's all about the villains, and ULTRON is another A-list villain, and I think this is the best executed Marvel Legend villain they have done at the sort of regular price point this year. It is magnificent. The range, as I said, the sculpt, the articulation, the accessories. Yes, we could have got more accessories, but we're greedy. We could get more accessories of every Marvel Legend. What we got was great, considering it had a Build-A-Figure as well. Like, this is such a good Marvel Legend. Like, I love it. I understand why people want to army build these. For me, here's going to be my ULTRON Prime, and I have my other ULTRONs as like ULTRON bots and drones, etc. But yeah, as a single packed, regular price Marvel Legend, this had to be number one. As I said, I love my villains, and this is the best sort of villain they've given us at this price point this year, in my opinion. Again, we needed an updated ULTRON, and I'm glad we waited for it, because this one, they have utilized all the great things of the modern Marvel Legend sort of display with the pinless and the great articulation. And again, whatever the paint job, they've done like a Silver Surfer type of paint job on this guy, and it really, really works. He's going to stand out for all the right reasons on the display. So at number one is ULTRON. So there you have it, my top 10 comic-based Marvel Legends of 2021. And remember, this is just my personal list of some of my favourite figures I've picked up this year. Ones I was most excited to add to the collection, and the ones that I've had the most fun with. But honestly, it's been another great year for collecting overall. We are currently living in the golden age of action figures, trust me, and Marvel Legends are at the forefront of that once again. Look at these figures on the table. They are beautiful. Now, I'm sure nobody out there will agree with my list, but that's what makes this time of year so fun, checking out everyone's list. No one is right, no one is wrong. It is all down to perspective and what you love. And yeah, I love these figures. Very happy with these 10 Marvel Legends. Happy they're in my list. Love adding new characters to the display and getting upgrades of other ones. And yeah, all of these are going to have prime real estate on my shelf. That is for sure. But as always, you let me know what you think in the comments below. Does anyone out there agree with my ranking? If not, give me your top 3 figures in the comments below and let's chat it up. But most importantly, if you like Marvel Legends and you like these type of lists, I will be doing a top 10 MCU and a top 10 builder figures for 2021. So make sure you stick around on the channel, check out the videos tab, find the playlists, but most importantly, please, 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 hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. And as always, my name is Dan W. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and I'm on Twitter as well. Tweet me at Dan Who Reviews. And until then, people, I will, of course, see you on the next one.